Over the past year, there have been 4 deaths caused by the police in Baltimore County. 3 out of the 4 of them were in the Dundalk, Essex area, which is where I live. And all of these were men over the age of 30. So obviously, I'm not going to put this on the police. The police are just doing their jobs. They show up to a scene and, they unfortunately have to make tough decisions sometimes. Okay? So this is not a video about ragging on the police. No, in fact, this is completely the opposite, which is I looking at this situation, this very, very sad situation that a lot of people look at and they say, good, good. I'm glad that heinous criminal is dead. I'm glad that crazy person is dead. Not understanding that this is preventable. But the reason why this keeps happening, and it's not just people who are being shot by the police, it's people who are offing themselves. We don't hear about them stories. A lot of times people like that, they don't get a funeral. So we don't see it on the obituaries. Okay? So let me say this. There needs to be a non-governmental, and maybe I'll be the one to start it, non-governmental support group. And when you hear support, you kind of think, this fruity, just, like, oh, tell me about your feelings. Hell no, I'm not talking about that. I am talking about a support group for men. It could be 25 plus, it could be 30 plus. We'll just do it 30 plus because that is the demographic that has been having these mental health crises. And again, that's another stigma. Mental health crises. All it really means is stuff isn't going right in that person's life and they got upset about something. All it takes is snapping. But that person could have been calmed down maybe an hour later. So, because Baltimore County and the government really don't seem to care about, especially white guys, especially middle-aged guys, we can't depend on the government anymore. So I'm not sure what I'm going to call this group, or if you guys have some ideas. I had like a list, but the name doesn't really matter. The reason for being is what matters, and that is we have not just, I don't want to call it a shoulder to cry on, but first of all, to know that you're not alone in whatever your mental health crisis is. But you also have the ability to overcome whatever is bothering you. Because I don't want to see another guy shot by the cops. I don't want the cops to have to live with that. So the more we can prevent people, I'm not saying every single one of them is preventable because some of them may be drug related, and that's another thing. If you're getting on the drugs, it can warp your mind. It can warp your mind beyond help. And that's something also maybe worth exploring. Why do people turn to those drugs? Well, we know why they do, but again, can this be prevented if people just gave a shit about older men? Because I'm telling you, there is a big gap. If you go and look at like all these different government health, it's always women, it's children, it's people up until the age of like 25. And then after that, you're on your own. So I don't want it to be where men feel like they're all alone in a struggle. I don't want it to be where, they're making videos on YouTube and talking about the government all the time. No. So we're going to prevent that from happening. And by the way, government, I know you've been waiting for me to say something just so you can come and arrest me. Not going to happen. You know why? Because I'm smarter than that. I'm on to your game. And what you fear most is not somebody making perceived or real actual threats. It's somebody who starts rooting through your data and telling the public about it. Oh, yes. That is what you fear the most. So because you wanted to poke me for over 16 years, I poke back. I poke back peacefully. And you can't do anything about that. You can't do anything about somebody using sunshine laws against you. The facts are the facts. You've been waiting for me to say the wrong thing. Well, unfortunately for you, what's going to be said is the truth about what's going on behind the scenes. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned. Men out there, if you're struggling with something, let me tell you, you're not alone, number one. And I've gathered up different things. We'll call them resources. Resources to be able to get over whatever hurdle you can't jump. Because, I think that the biggest problem is society doesn't give a crap about older men. And when I say older, like I said, 30 plus, 25 plus even. So 25 plus, 30 plus. We'll probably make it 25, but 30 sounds a little bit better. Plus, it's a round number. Any men are welcome to join, especially ones that are struggling or who have struggled and overcame, and maybe they can share whatever resources they used. But yeah, I'm sick and tired of seeing this happen. It's sad, and nobody seems to care. No, well, there's a few people out there, but like I said, if you go through the comments, it's, oh yeah, good, I'm glad you got that person. Wow. What a nice thing for friends and family members of that person to read from strangers. Maybe some of you guys should have some mental health evaluations yourselves if that's what you think. If that's what you truly feel, maybe you need to go to the psychologist. So anyway, Adam, I'm out. Peace.